So here's my tea, and I know what you're thinking, is it good? Well, the potatoes are very crispy, that's it, lovely, spicy, lovely, and the chicken to die for. To marinate my chicken, I am going to use a kilo of chicken thighs. I'm going to put all my spices into here. So into my bag, I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika. And these are half teaspoons because a full teaspoon wouldn't fit into my jar, so that's 4 of those. A teaspoon of garlic. So I'm using garlic powder in this instance, but feel free to use fresh garlic cloves, that's fine. Sorry, it doesn't look as if I'm going to get much out of it. I don't know about anybody else, but these garlic powder granules, they clump together so easily. Can't even move them. Some salt, and we're going to use a teaspoon of salt. So that's 2 of these half teaspoons, just regular salt, table salt. So there's 1/2 and a bit more for good luck. We're going to use a teaspoon of ground cumin. So now it's up to you with the chilli. I've got 2 chilies here. I've got the chili flakes and the mild chili powder because we are just wimps in this household, as you well know if you watch my channel long enough. So it asks for a teaspoon of chilli, but I'm just going to put 1/2 teaspoon in because I'm going to use the flakes as well, because I find these not to be as strong. And as well, if I can get that out, yeah, there we go. I don't want it to overpower with 2, so I'm just going to put that one in. And then a teaspoon of Italian seasoning, and that's all that in there. I'm just going to give it a bit of a shake first of all. And then I'm going to pop my chicken in here. So I've got my gloves to the side ready. So I've got a kilo of chicken thighs. You can use chicken breast if you so wish. Chicken thighs though tend to be a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for?
One eternity later.
Juicy, that's the word. Pop that on there. Seal your bag. Don't want any chicken juices going anywhere. And then just give them a right old smoosh. Leave these to marinate for a minimum of an hour, but if you can, as long as possible is the best option. And I'm going to put it in the fridge for the rest of the day until I'm ready for tea. I'm going to start off by making my Patatas Bravas, and to prepare that I've got 900 grams of regular Maris Piper potatoes, and I'm not going to peel them. Number 1, it's a bit of a chore, and number 2, there's lots of fibre and so forth in the actual skins that are good for you, so we won't do that. So we're just going to cube them into sort of 1-inch cubes and pop them in a bowl. There we go. So I'll just put those in some water. So there they are in some water, and I'm just going to leave those for about half an hour or so, just to get some of the starch out, and I'll be back with you when that's done. So to go with everything, I'm going to make a green sauce using coriander and a few other bits and pieces. So I've got 1 bunch of normal everyday coriander. I'm going to take out the stalks, mainly because they can be a bit tough. You can save the stalks though to go in curries and so forth later on, and waste not, want not, and all that. If you don't like coriander, don't use it. You could use parsley, basil, whatever you fancy. It doesn't have to be coriander. Okay, so I'm just going to chop this up. Finely chopped is the idea. It's up to you how you do it. If you like it a little bit more rustic, then fair dues, you get on with that. That's not a problem for me. This is your sauce at the end of the day. That's going into my bowl. I'm just using one of these bowls here. I'm going to add some yogurt, and this is just 0% yogurt, roughly about half a cup, but this is a bit of an eyeball thing, this. What we're going to be doing is tasting as we go, so it's roughly going to be about half a cup maybe. And we'll put that to one side for now. We need the juice of a lime. If you don't like lime, you could use lemon juice. Ooh. Or if you wanted to be a bit more different, you could use orange juice, red wine vinegar, blah, 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 blah. Some honey, and we're going to add roughly a teaspoon of honey, but if you want more, if you like it a bit sweeter, then some olive oil, about 2 tablespoons. We're going to add olive oil. Make sure you check your olive oil, by the way. Give it a sniff, and if it smells grassy, you're all right. If it smells different, then I would query whether it's okay or not, because it can go off. People tend to keep these kind of things in their cupboards forever and a day, and really they don't last that long, especially if they've been in the heat. And I know mine, pepper here by the way, I know mine sits next to my cooker, salt going in, and some garlic. Now you don't need a lot of garlic, which is a good job because mine has seen better days, so about half a teaspoon to a teaspoon. It's really up to you. You can use fresh or you can use dried. I'm using the dried here. I'm going to mix all of this in now. So I'm just going to put a little bit more yogurt in because it needs it, in my opinion. Okay, and then we're going to give it a bit of a taste. And that is lovely. That is surprisingly fresh. Like that. A lot. So that's going in my fridge for tea. So I'm going to start off by making the sauce for my potatoes. We're going to add to the pan some olive oil, and we need a few squirts of olive oil. We're going to be softening our veggies. It's about 7 or 8 there, I think. I didn't count, but we'll go with that. And in there we're going to put our peppers and our onions, and we're going to let them soften. It should take about 5 or 6 minutes or so. To help them soften and to stop them getting too brown before they get soft, we're going to give them a little bit of salt, because that helps to draw out the moisture in it. Doesn't matter which onion you use. Peppers aren't traditional, but I thought it would be nice for a splash of colour in among all the red that we're going to be putting in there. I'll be back with you when this has softened down. When it's starting to soften, you can tell it's starting to soften because the colour changes. It's not this colour in the middle there, the white. It changes to a more translucent colour. It's time to add about 1 to 2 cloves of garlic. Do this one with your heart, it's up to you. If you're like some people, they like a metric ton. Personally, I think that's a little too much, but hey ho. And keep stirring. If it looks like your vegetables are starting to stick, then by all means add a splash of water. That will encourage the steam to come forward and help to cook your vegetables a bit quicker because it will steam them. Once your vegetables have softened, it's time to add about 2 teaspoons of paprika. Now, this is the normal paprika, so the sweet paprika, and basically what we're doing here is bringing spice to life, basically, by heating it up. Half a teaspoon of chili flakes, or whatever you can cope with, and give it a mix in. A 400-gram tin of tomatoes, and smish that around. Smish that around, that's a technical term, guys. 1/4 of a can of, you guessed it, water. Swish it around to get rid of all the stuff on the inside and tip it in. And to that you're going to add tomato puree, and we're just going to squirt it in. And the last thing we need to add is salt and pepper. Now I've already put salt in, so I'm going to put pepper in now. And we're going to leave that to reduce for a few minutes. Now this will keep about, what, 2 to 3 days in your fridge until you need it. The longer it's in your fridge, the more it'll have time to mature in flavour, which is often the better. You may find as well it needs a sprinkle of sugar before you finish. I would advise you to taste it just to make sure, which is what I'm going to do now. I know it's not fully ready, but I'll give it a wish. You can usually taste. And yeah, that does need a bit of sugar. So we're talking about 1/8 of a teaspoon, if that, just a sprinkle. If you haven't got any sugar in the house, then bicarbonate of soda will work. Makes the tomatoes a little less acidic. I've got my potatoes in the air fryer. I've sprayed them with oil and I've popped them in there on air fry for about 20 minutes. See how they go, keep shaking them and what have you. Partly cooked them in the microwave to start off with. And I'm going to start now on the chicken. We've already got the sauce done. So I'm going to lightly coat my pan with about 4 squirts of oil. You need the frying pan on a medium heat. Don't have it too hot. And we're going to cook our chicken in bursts. If we overcrowd the pan, they're going to stew rather than cook. So great for a barbecue this as well, I have to say. So we're going to pop, oh, listen to the sizzle. There we go, there's one. I'm going to put just a few in for now. That's 3 for now. And we're going to work our way through that. Don't add a lot of fat to the pan because notoriously chicken thighs do have a lot of fat in them, which will render out, so be aware. I've got a plate to the side ready for my chicken to sit on and keep warm, and I've got my air fryer just to the left of me so I can keep an eye on that. The sauces are done, all I've got to do is reheat them when everything's ready. So I'll be back with you when we're just about ready to serve. So, my tea, and I know what you're thinking, is it good? Well, the potatoes are very crispy, I have to say, lovely, spicy, lovely, and the chicken itself, hang on, and the chicken, to die for. Give it a whirl.